You know, we get so caught up in the election of people, we forget about the propositions sometimes, which are just as important. Prop 305 about the empowerment scholarships that will expand that program. Joining me is No on 305. It's Dawn Thacker from Save Our Schools. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
So on this issue, we've made no bones about the fact that I've been in favor of this issue, but I always believe people should be informed. We've had a lot of conversations about this. From your perspective, why is the expansion of 305, why is this expansion wrong?
Well, there are two main reasons. First is an issue of accountability and what we're doing with our tax dollars. The second is an issue of priorities and who's getting priority and who's not and why.
Okay.
So let's talk about the priority issue first. So Arizona already has these empowerment scholarship accounts. Most folks just call them private school vouchers because it's
the voucher
easier.
program.
The voucher program. For the last 8 years, we've had this program for specific populations of students who have real needs. And when I say real needs, I mean autism, some kind of disability, military kids, kids in foster care, kids in failing schools. And this empowerment scholarship program is limited to them because they have needs that any reasonable person can say, yeah, if you have autism, you should get help going to an autism academy. If you're in foster care, your life may be a mess and you should be able to find a situation that fits you. Well, Prop 305 expands the program, but in expanding it, it wipes away the priority that the original population has. So now we're saying, okay, 500% increase. Any kid in Arizona can have this. Even if you're this child of a millionaire and you have a perfect life, if you're in line before the military kid, you get it and they don't. If you just want it because you want to go to a fancy private school, you're in line before that special needs kid. That's the way they wrote that law, and that's one of the major reasons that I personally got involved in opposing it, because I'm a military family, and I don't think it's right that they wrote a law that kicks us to the back of the line.
Now, the pro people, which we are going to be talking to as well, are going to say that it doesn't eliminate anybody from the program, but it expands it for other people to have availability to it. You're saying that this law is written that there are going to be people that now will be in and leaving the original people out.
That's right, because the other thing that Prop 305 does is put a cap on how many people can enroll for these ESAs. And so here's a good example. The cap is 30,000, thereabouts. Well, there are 100,000 kids with special needs, kids with autism and other things, in Arizona right now. So by simple math, we are saying that we're comfortable telling 70,000 special needs kids, sorry, no spot for you.
What is it capped at right now?
It's not. But it's only for populations with that criteria, with those eligibility requirements met. Military kids, foster kids, kids with autism. So Prop 305 says you don't have to have any special need, but there can only be 30,000 of you. That's not how we should be doing this.
Would you be opposed to something if it was separate that still included the military kids, the kids with special needs, but open this up to other people as long as that group was cared for?
That's what my main goal and the goal of Save Our Schools is, the group that I helped found. We want to wipe Prop 305 away, it's a badly written bill, and come back to the table and do this right. Because nobody, including me, including Save Our Schools, is trying to say that there's something wrong with this program in concept. But the way they wrote Prop 305 is wrong.
Okay, and then the second level of this you were going to talk about.
Yeah, so the second major problem that I have with it, that we have with it, is accountability and transparency. So these are our tax dollars. And so for those who don't know, when you sign up to get an empowerment scholarship account, what it is it's a literal debit card. It is a Visa card. And the state takes money out of the school that the public or charter school that you might have gone to. It loads that up, plus more, onto a debit card, and it mails it to the family. And now you have a Visa card full of upwards of $30,000 of taxpayer dollars. Now, you're supposed to spend it on private school or curriculum or tutoring or things like that. But there's a bunch of fraud in this program that the Auditor General himself said the staff up there at the Department of Education is not doing a good job. They don't know how to track this money.
So, to be devil's advocate, How is that different from the complaints that people say about the EBT cards and the welfare programs for food assistance, where people are getting just carte blanche on what they can buy with food? How is it any different than that?
It's not. And that's exactly my point, is that we don't think it's okay for someone to get an EBT card and go, buy a bunch of beer and Cheetos with it. So why are we saying that that's okay for the card for education? I want them, I want to wipe 305 away and then rewrite a law that has some actual accountability into it. But here's another thing that I want to talk about. I think we have an idea of people take this money and they go to a great, Catholic school like the Catholic school I grew up around. They had great academics, they had great discipline. What's wrong with that, But in reality, some legal uses for this card are dolphin therapy. So you and me are paying taxes for a kid to go do dolphin therapy. They can go to private and religious school, but it's not just Catholic school. Anyone can open a private school. We have Islamic schools here in Arizona. We have New Age private schools here in Arizona. So I always want to know, are you as comfortable with your tax dollars going to Islamic private school as you are with Catholic private school? As taxpayers, do we want to know what kids are learning when they're taking our money to learn it, or do we not? This doesn't let us see what those kids are learning.
All right, I wanted to give you fair time on here. You do a great job of stating your case. Be an educated voter. Go and look at the website, find out more on this issue. We're going to be talking with the people that are pro 305 so you can be an informed voter. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
We'll be back.